Hey, what does it be? Fucking sexy beast, GhostSickness Tristan here. Now, this is going to be a rant. I'm going to be angry, I'm going to cuss, and I'm just going to warn you guys right off the bat. So if you don't want to watch this, click away now. And if you do want to hear me cuss and be angry, go ahead and count how many times I cuss and leave the comment in the comment section below. I'll have to go ahead and count it the next day or something like that because I'm angry. I'm filled with rage about this, and I just wanted to talk about it. So, if you guys work, you'll know about employees, and you'll know about bad employees, and you'll know about people who don't fucking show up to their shifts or do their jobs. Now, it all started with one guy several months ago. I don't know why. He's like the catalyst to this whole damn thing. He's just like, okay. So, in the past, we've had usually good employees. You know, we have some people leave and some people get fired and here and there. It's McDonald's, guys. What do you expect? I work at McDonald's. Sorry, I didn't clarify that. And I've worked there for over 3 years. And ever since I was 14, I'm 17 now. And I've seen some stuff, but it's never been as bad as it is now. So, this is basically in a rut at the McDonald's franchise where I'm working. And it absolutely sucks because it puts a lot more pressure on us, and I'll get into that. So like I said, it started with one guy like probably 4 or 5 months ago. I'm going to say it was in May. Obviously, I don't remember clearly because it wasn't that important, but it just, it strikes me as one of those things. Because I remember we lost him, and then we lost like 3 guys the same week. So here's what happened. This guy came in, he was trained to be grill, which is basically making the food and doing stuff like that as grill would be, wrapping the sandwiches, pulling up meats and whatnot. So, anyway, he was working his first day and he got some burns on the grill or something and he thought people didn't care about him. I don't remember the full thing, but he was kind of just filled with anger and everything like that on one of the days I was working. And so he seemed like a pretty cool guy and I talked to him a little bit and stuff. And then eventually he's just like, fuck this, I'm out. And he just walks out the front door, just quit on his very first day of work. And so ever since then, people have just been, oh my god, this guy did it, I can do that too. Holy crap, that's genius. Let's just walk out. We've had people walk out who worked there 8 years. We've had people walk out who just, you know, it's their first day, like I said, you know, their first week or whatever. And it absolutely sucks. And so here's why it sucks, is because for the rest of the week, for the rest of that time that they're quote still on payroll or still hired or whatever, they need to get their shifts covered. So it's on everybody else to either cover the shifts or pick up the fucking slack. And I've mentioned this before, and it's absolutely ridiculous because McDonald's sucks in that way, and so does fast food in general. It just has a really high turnover rate, and turnover means basically a lot of people come and a lot of people go. It's like 300 to 400% per year, which means that for every year, how do I explain this? For every year, oh man, like people will leave like every 3 months. Like that's the average. It's absolutely just garbage and it sucks. And so the people who stay there, you really learn to appreciate them. But even they have walked out on us, and even they have, you know, kind of quit unwillingly. I'm going to get into one of these guys. So one of these guys was a really cool manager. I was pretty chill with him. He was a really cool guy, and I would probably hang out with him if I weren't, you know, 17 or whatever. So he's a pretty cool guy. And what happened was he faked that his brother was in a coma and that he had to be there and visit him at the hospital so he couldn't come into work. And so my manager's like, okay, or my store manager, right? I don't want you to get that confused with like the shift managers, the ones who I'm talking about who kind of quit or got fired or whatever. So they technically got fired. Anyway, so he's just like, oh my god, my brother. So he texts her and he's like, hey, so my brother's in a coma. He got in a car crash or something. And so I'm at the hospital with him and I'll be there probably all week or something like that. So he's MIA for about a week and a half. No one has seen him and stuff like that. He's just been gone. And eventually, my manager sees on his Facebook that he's just been like, his brother posted, hey, I can't wait to see my family this week. They're coming up to blah, blah, blah. And, oh my god, so he's perfectly fine this whole time, and my manager had been lying about all of this just to get time off work and not have to worry about getting his fucking shifts covered. So that is ridiculous, because he'd been there, you know, 6 or 7 years, and just to pull this kind of shit as a manager, instead of just being like, hey, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks, I'm going to get my shifts covered, or just, you know, do whatever, maybe come work them if I have to, and then I'm going to leave honorably so I can use you as a fucking reference. Is it that hard, guys? Is it that hard to be like, okay, so I'm going to put in my 2 weeks, I'm kind of done here, and I'm just going to have everybody else pick up my shit, have everybody else pick up my slack. I'm done having this on my resume because, oh yeah, so go ahead and give my business a call and be like, hey, so, yeah, how is this person at the job? Oh, yeah, they did that for the last 2 weeks and they fucking quit on you and pretend their brother was in a coma just to get out of work. Yeah, not very cool. We're not going to hire this guy. So the real reason, guys, that you don't want to quit your job and get all your shifts covered, or just quit your job and not show up for any of your shifts. So when you quit a job, you're supposed to give what's called your 2-week notice, and in that time it gives a manager to hire someone to replace you, and we haven't had that. So we've been fucking understaffed, and that's why I'm making this at 5 in the morning right now, and I have school in about 2 hours. So I wouldn't be here right now. I would be sleeping all snuggling up in my bed this whole entire week. But no, one of our persons who worked there, you're just like, okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I don't like one of the managers there, so instead of talking to them and confronting them and doing stuff like that and going the proper route of working there for a while, no, I'm just going to up and fucking quit and get all my shifts covered and just give all the work to everybody else. So I ended up covering 4 of his shifts, and they were all closing shifts. I ended up working like 40 hours this week. It was absolute fucking madness, and I closed tonight, and it sucked, man. It was not that fun. I got out at like 1:30 a.m., and I've just been up ever since. I'm just like, oh yeah, let's just pull an all-nighter, because why not, right? If I get any sleep, I'll just be totally and utterly #wrecked for school tomorrow, or school today, man. School in a few hours. That's going to be a blast. But when I come home, I'm definitely just going to crash. And so my schedule this week is finally going back to normal. So yeah, that's why you want to give your 2 weeks, is because you can have your job as a reference. All the years you've worked there, or just however long you've worked there, you'd be like, yeah, I worked at McDonald's for a few months, whatever. And they call them, they're like, yeah, I totally recommend this guy. They gave their 2 weeks. Everything was good. They got all their shifts covered. Actually, no, they worked all their shifts. But we've had managers. And the worst part is when it's managers and as well as new people, because we've been so understaffed lately that everyone's been doing 200% more work. And it sucks, man. It really does. It makes everything horrible when you're understaffed. And you guys will know what that's like if you've ever worked a job and people have called in. And it's just a pain in the ass. And really, we have too much of a tolerance policy as it is. It's just like, okay, yeah, they're late a few times. Okay, they missed a few shifts. No, you're fucking fired, all right? Oh, you're late on your first shift. You're fucking fired. Oh, you didn't show up to 2 shifts in a row. You're fired if you don't have a good fucking excuse. If you're not in the hospital or you don't have a damn good excuse, you are fired. That should be how it is. It should be a really, really low tolerance policy at McDonald's. But it's a very high tolerance policy, and we just have to put up with all this shit. And lately, we haven't even had enough applications or influx of new employees to replace all the shitty ones. I would rather have shitty employees than no employees at all, man. It really, really sucks. And I wish we could do just like kind of an influx of just, we fire everybody but the really good people. And then we just hire a bunch of new people. There you go. Start fresh and everything will be good. Peachy keen, man. It sucks. It really does. Being understaffed, if you guys have ever worked, please let me know about your understaffed experiences. Winky face. I'm not talking about you getting staffed down there. That's not what I'm talking about. But yeah, it fucking sucks, man. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't be here making this right now. This rant, and it's been on my mind lately because that's just been my work life. It's just been, the quality, and I'm glad I'm moving up on the work ladder and making more money per hour, because if not, my job wouldn't be worth it. I don't make minimum wage. I actually make more than minimum wage, so it's substantial enough to actually stay there. And when I do quit this job, or when I do move on, or whenever what happens, I'm going to put in my fucking 2 weeks, and I'm going to work that last 2 weeks. And a lot of people say they'll do that, and they don't actually fucking do that. But I'm not going to be a scumbag and make sure everybody else is picking up my slack and picking up my work. So my advice to you guys is, if you're working and if you're doing something, anything, a project, whatever. I've had people bail out on projects, and it's the same thing. If you guys have ever been a group project at school, and let's say your group's just like, yeah, I didn't do my part, sorry about that, and you have to pick up their slack, that's what it's fucking like. But it goes on for several hours, and you can't get away from it. There's nothing you can do. I'm not going to fucking walk out. I'm not going to be a pussy. I'm not going to, be like, oh my god, I need to get my shift covered. No. Fuck that. I'm going to show up to work. I'm going to do my stuff. Remember the fact that I love you guys. Bye. This was a rant. Like it if you like it. Dislike it if you disliked it. Bye.